story this week, Carolina lost to the Tennessee Titans on Sunday, and on Monday they fired their coach, Frank Reich. He gone. And the owner, David Tepper, this is the hedge fund guy, David Tepper, who's been called all kinds of names. He addressed the cameras on Tuesday. Now, if you didn't see this, and why would you? Unless you're a Carolina Panther fan, you probably would be like, I'm not going to watch that. I don't care about that. I'm not a Panther fan. You think I care? Come on. Well, it turns out that he spoke. The Panthers owner, David Tepper, gave an in-season state of the team address, if you will. And how long did this last? It did not last long. It did not last long, but it covered a lot of ground. This thing lasted less than 15 minutes. In fact, it was less than 14 minutes by a couple of seconds. The narrative, though, being pushed, and I watched this thing because I have no life. I'm a loser, and I watch these things. But the narrative being pushed by the establishment NFL media is that the big takeaway from this 13-minute, 58-second diatribe, the big takeaway is that the decision to select the guy named Bryce Young, who's been a bust, over CJ Stroud was a unanimous decision by the Carolina football team. One headline beamed, David Tepper gives Bryce Young a huge vote of confidence. Another said the Panthers owner, David Tepper, defending his lack of patience and the decision to draft Bryce Young number 1 overall. And it goes on and on. I could read these, but why would I? I gave you a little taste, and you can go look them up yourself. So let us discuss. The question is this. Did you, or how did you, I guess, the question is, how did you score owner David Tepper's State of the Panthers address regarding Bryce Young and the coaching change in Carolina? So I've got the Booth, Trucker's Creed, and Golden Rule. And we will combine all of these things together, and we're going to warm your heart. We're going to warm your heart with these things. Now, number one. So to answer the question, how did you score David Tepper's State of the Panthers address? It gets an F. Now, in terms of entertainment, I would give it a B. But in terms of actually being effective, I'm pretty confident that the PR people for the Carolina Panthers went out and smoked cigarettes after this and like, what are we doing here? So I'll give it an F in that regard. Now, it was bizarre, and I'm happy it happened. I wish we'd get more of these things, not less. So maybe I should give him a better score. It's possible that I'm living in a bubble. Maybe I live in the audio device you're listening to. But watching this news conference, I didn't watch it live. I watched it on the interweb, the World Wide Web. But it was clear and obvious that the Panthers did not want Bryce Young, yet the reporting is that Bryce Young got a huge vote of confidence. Now, no matter the kind of yarn that the media is spinning, how do we know that it's clear and obvious and very straightforward the Panthers did not want Bryce Young? We know because the owner said it. He said it. The Panthers owner, David Tepper, admitted the original plan was to take CJ Stroud. He even spelled it all out, that Carolina traded for the number 1 pick with the Chicago football team. The whole plan was they would make another trade, so it would be a 3-way trade. They would then trade down to number 2 with reckless abandon. And Tepper, during this news conference, went into the confessional booth. Sure as the wind blows, he went into the confessional booth, and Carolina had it all mapped out. They figured the Texans were going to draft Young, and Stroud would then be available and end up on Tobacco Road. And the Panthers, I learned this from Scooby-Doo, the Panthers would have gotten away with it if it weren't for the meddling Houstonians, the best laid plans of mice men and hedge fund NFL owners. It all went to hell. Now, page 2 here with the words of wisdom going viral here from David Tepper about the quarterback derby. Many bleeding heart bloggers who actually watched the news conference were verklempt. Right? They were a glass house of emotion. It's unbelievable. It's like, oh, man, this is This is crazy. What an act of disrespect to the prodigy quarterback from Alabama. So where do these comments leave Bryce Young with the Panthers? Where do these comments leave Bryce Young with the Panthers? So in a relatable place, Bryce Young becomes more popular, right? Because he's now an underdog. He went from the number one pick to an underdog story. And it's relatable because in the real world, this is how it works, right? You have a boss likely that may be incompetent, doesn't know what they're doing. And in a lot of places, management is incompetence. And you reach your highest level. It's the Peter principle. You reach your highest level of incompetence and you stay there. And it's often middle management. So welcome to the real world. And the other thing is when life gives you lemons, then you should make a nice lemonade stand, charge a couple of bucks, and make some money. Is it ideal? No, it's less than ideal. But ultimately, right? Ultimately, Bryce Young, he's got the final edit. He's got the final edit. And as our friends that drive these big, long, giant trucks, the long-haul truck drivers, you got to follow the trucker's creed. You just keep on trucking, right? You're the man in the arena. You're the one out there. So you have the power because you have the ball in your hand, hands on ball. Okay? You're the man in the arena. You have the power to change the end. Do better, be better. Bryce Young is not only a rookie quarterback, not only a number one pick, he's lousy. There's no other way to say it. How bad? 31st ranked quarterback in the NFL. 31st ranked quarterback in the NFL. The Panthers' passing offense is anemic. It isn't all Bryce Young's fault, but a lot of it is, right? A lot of it is because he can't play, right? He can't play, and he hasn't shown that he can play at the pro level. All right, final point. So owner David Tepper, the man we're talking about here at the beginning, he defended his lack of patience. So that was a big part of this. For some reason, he talked about bringing music and soccer to Charlotte. Like this is like if you're a football fan, an NFL fan, you're supposed to be excited because of extra music shows and soccer matches. Anyway, David Tepper, the main part was he defended the lack of patience that he has shown. Remember, they had Matt Rule. He didn't last very long. College coach blew him out, and then they went with Frank Reich. Now he's done. So where do you stand on this? I'm actually okay with it. Unpopular opinion. I've not changed my position in the last day since we talked about this story. Now, I'll tell you why. The reason I don't have a problem with this is because if I owned an NFL team, I'd do the same thing, right? The golden rule is whoever has the gold makes the rules. And David Tepper, because he's a sleazy hedge fund guy, he has the gold. And the other thing is this. Why wait? Why would you wait? It's like halftime adjustments. Now, I have said for years, and there's no such thing as halftime adjustments. And a couple years ago, Peyton Manning confirmed there is no such thing as halftime adjustments. It's just another dopey thing that people say to fill time when they come back from halftime, when they eat their bologna sandwich at halftime and they get back on television. Well, we'll see what adjustments they make. And the sideline journalist, sorry, not sideline reporter, not sideline eye candy, the sideline journalist then has to report, well, we're going to try to get after the quarterback more, not turn the ball over, blah, 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 blah. But Peyton Manning pointed out there is no such thing as halftime adjustments. It's all a myth. And he said a couple years ago that the halftime adjustments he made with the Colts during his career was just a chance to go in and nobody beats the whiz, use the restroom there, eat a couple of orange slices, and then the coach would say, all right, let's go get them, boys, and run back out. And so that's it. It's like this. If you have a problem with 8 minutes to go in the first quarter, are you going to then wait for the second half of the first quarter to end and the second quarter before you make the adjustment? No, you're going to address the problem immediately, and that's what David Tepper, in his mind, now we'll see whether he's right or not, this is a problem, and I still go by the conspiracy theory that what he said on Tuesday, David Tepper, was bullcrap. It was bullshoy, and it was just nonsense. And the truth is that he was upset because Frank Reich and some of these guys on the Carolina staff were leaking to the media that the owner wanted CJ Stroud and they wanted CJ Stroud. The owner wanted Bryce Young, is what I meant to say. So I'm buying that as the conspiracy. And what happened on Tuesday doesn't really take away from that. In fact, it merely is David Tepper's like, well, we were going to get CJ Stroud. And so he kind of confirmed it, but then he put a spin on it saying the Texans messed everything up.